general theme is how does it feel to be a hypocrite?
Right. Well, he sounds like a royal dirtbag.
I was wrong about something.
Magnificent! Magnificent! Magnificent!
If we can be with ourselves, if we can understand ourselves, we can love.
It's not my fault nobody can understand what you're saying.
Let's go while we're young.
3, 2, 1. Just introduce yourself and tell me what you ate for breakfast.
Hey, good morning. It's Wednesday. Happy Wednesday. Hey, so the internet here, Wi-Fi, whatever you want to label it, whatever, it's glitchy. So I'm hoping that we're gonna have success this morning. Either way, we're here right now. I hope you're having a good morning. So we're in 7 signs a person is a person's character is villainous, vicious, and vile. And yes, that really exists. I think we all know that it exists. I think that sometimes we are far too reluctant to call things what they are these days because we're afraid that we're going to offend somebody, or we're afraid that somebody is going to push back on us. I get messages. I would suppose probably 3 or 4 per week that of people saying, hey, good show. Just to be honest with you, we can't and won't say anything publicly in the comments because we are worried about who we know also watches. That's ridiculous to me, in my opinion. And I don't mean because it's me. I mean that even means a broader, larger thing that is happening in society where just the weird division and the weird ability to look at things from different perspectives and different viewpoints is dangerous, apparently, to some people. I don't understand it, and I'm here to shine a light on it, I guess, in some fashions and things along that line. So part of that is just being here in the morning, chatting with you. Get your hashtag in if you've won before. Hashtag cruelty. Make sure that you get that in here during the live show. I'll leave that up for a little bit yet, but we're going to look at 3, 4, and 5, cruelty being number 3. Again, not in any specific order. 4 is unresponsive to evil, as I just sort of mentioned. And then number 5 is the enjoyment in others' misery. We're going to look at that here right now. So hashtag cruelty. If you've won already, win again, give it away, or whatever, good way to maybe share the show or share shinybrand.com with somebody is just sharing what you've been able to win. So let's get into cruelty here. So some, villainous, vicious, and vile people are subtle about it, aren't they? They're, and I think we've all been that in a sense. We've all wanted to do things to kind of get our way in a situation, but we're talking the character of somebody with this is like, and if we can't recognize in ourselves that we have been that there's been a portion of that, cruelty that we've done or whatever, then we're lying completely. I mean, it is literally human nature to do cruel things at one time or another, whether it be premeditated or whatever, but we do that. So some are subtle in their character, that they're villainous, vicious, and vile, while others, we can really see it. They wear it literally on their clothes. They certainly wear it in their attitude and things like that. Some are vocal about it. In fact, they are very, they'll talk about what they want to do towards others, how they want to be cruel towards them, and whatever else. They will say, we can look at certain religions, quite honestly, and the things that they talk about just within their religion that they want to do to other human beings. And it can be a lot of different ways that they do this, whether it be vocal or physical, but it is, fighting. It can be emotionally and physically, where they are just completely attacking people. So that it brings them down and it hurts them. We see weird hurting of animals and things along those lines, that, people are doing. Discipline is one thing, being mean and evil to things and animals are completely different, of course. And those who are really very villainous, vicious, and vile, I like saying it. It's kind of fun, isn't it? I've had to practice that, by the way. Villainous, vicious, and vile. It's a tongue twister, just a little bit. They'll push their cruelty so far, in fact, that they do real damage. Like they'll do real damage to a person. They'll do real damage to a person's property, personal possessions, or whatever. That, in fact, I mean, we see it. People are being hospitalized when people are physically abusive, of course, and then people are, quite frankly, thankfully, ending up in jail because of the nasty things that they do to others. And so, if you're in a place like that with someone, get out. Whatever you can, absolutely get out immediately, as quick as humanly possible. Get out of there, get some help, and then make sure that person, that you just got to get away. I'll just leave it there. You just got to get away. We're going to go on to number 4 here, unresponsive to evil. If you're just joining us, cruelty, #cruelty. I'll leave this up for you for another couple of minutes. I got a text here I see wondering what today's hashtag. I'm trying to leave it in the comments also during the live show, so just kind of watch for that as well. But so unresponsive to evil, again, not in any specific order, but someone who is villainous, vicious, and vile will not react the same way to evil things and bad doings that most people will. I'm going to give you some there's a couple of questions when I speak with students, and I try to do a Q&A with them after I am finished. And one of the top questions is, how do you do this without completely losing it emotionally? And what I've done, and people who are close to me have seen this, but what I do is I reserve time to actually deal with those emotions generally before that I'm going to speak about it. But I literally put that in my block of time. Like, I am going to emotionally deal with that stress and that trauma of what I went through, and that in order to be able to be in front of a group and not be emotionless, but most certainly not allow my emotions to get out of control. And so there's a real difference between reacting to something that is evil and being prepared for something that you need to talk about. And I really talk a lot about that with students, and what to, if you've seen some of my Q&As, I know I've posted some of them over the years. You probably understand what I'm talking about. And so there's a real difference between, reacting to something that's tragic and evil that someone else has done, and not. I mean, we see it, and we see it's obvious. They don't feel emotionally moved about terrible events. They don't. They might even think that it's good that this happened, and things along those lines. They simply won't care about suffering of other people. So actually, let me skip a couple notes as we're getting in here. Villainous, vicious, and vile people can be incredibly. Yes, I told you the internet is freaking out here a little bit, and I'm not sure. I did get some other equipment the other day. Hopefully that'll boost the signal here. I don't know why it does this. It just, I'm in the country, and it's just life. But villainous, vicious, and vile people can be incredibly terrifying because they have a complete lack of empathy for other people and what they're going through. There's no sympathy there, anything like that. And again, avoid these people at all costs. Number 5, and we'll run through this fast. The enjoyment in others' misery. Someone who is villainous, vicious, and vile will actually find enjoyment in the misery and the misfortunes of other people. We know people like that. We need to avoid people like that at all costs, no matter who they are. try and get them help if you think you are able to do that or whatever, but we have to avoid that. It's just literally, physically, and life-threateningly dangerous. They don't empathize again. It's kind of the same thing as what before. They also, they're just not able to remember any of the pain that they've experienced to have that empathy with somebody. That when they get that enjoyment, they just cannot attach to what it's like to have those things happen. And they're happy about the suffering of others. I think that there's in a general sense, I think it's important to understand balance, that, people do make choices, and while we're able to make those choices, we can't decide what the consequences of those choices will be. And so the bad, terrible choices that we make will have consequences. So the balance between the enjoyment of seeing somebody's consequences being bad and wanting them to happen for somebody, and the reality of the consequences of being held personally responsible, I guess, is probably the quickest way to say it. The cold, villainous, vicious, and vile people are dangerous because they put down those who are already hurt. They will stomp on people. They will do things that will lift them up in other people's misery. They will seriously enjoy other people's misery. And it's just, we have to avoid them at all costs. So I hope that you've enjoyed the morning. I hope that this series has been good. We're going to look at 6 and 7 tomorrow, and then we'll try to get this thing to work. Let's see. Everybody got their hashtag cruelty in? I do not understand why this is acting this way, but let's see what we can do here. I've said this before. If you're here and you can hear me, I've said this before. The more trouble that you have when you're trying to do something that you feel is good and right, I think the more important it is to keep doing those things. I know that we all think we're doing good and right, and I get that maybe I'm actually not. And some people have literally said you're not doing good and right, and that's okay. That's their opinion, and that's fine. But I'm not out here causing fights. I'm not out here yelling at people that they're wrong about everything or whatever else. So, I don't know. Here we go. There it finally goes. Try it again. Thanks for bearing with this country technology. So, all right. Congratulations, Amy. You are the Oh, I didn't tell you what it is today. Because of daylight savings time, I'm doing coffee this week for the whole week as the prize. So I said it the other day, I don't like how they change the time, but my personal preference. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6:30. Thank you so much for all your messages. Thanks for supporting the show and by hammering the like button, sharing it with a friend or whatever else. If you think it's worthy, I do appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
You know what I just saw?
Who is this guy?
I call myself Podcast because of my podcast.
I have exorcised the demons. This house is clear.
So it's done. It's done.